Tracy, you probably need to help me a little bit on this.
Sure.
Um, welcome to everyone to the webinar United, Come United, which a grant that SAVE has got. And past few months we have done webinars and we're help communities groups get started, and Teresa's been doing it, and she's been doing a wonderful job. So if you just take over.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
good?
Great. Thank you. Yeah, our Community United is a series of webinars that was funded by the Administration on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. You might know them as AIDD. The grant supports self-advocacy groups and organizations to become stronger. Next slide, please. The purpose of today's webinar is to learn the benefits of social networking sites, reaching younger members, and its purpose is to give immediate information and feedback. And we are going to talk about being safe on the internet. Next slide, please. Thank you. I'd like to introduce George Garcia. He's with Southwest Institute for Families and Children, and he works with the Youth Action Council. Thank you, George. Take it away.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about social networking and how to do that online. So, go ahead and go next. Let's begin with the basics. What is social networking? Social networking occurs in our lives every day. I mean, we're as humans, we're social. We build relationships. Social networking is just the idea of being able to share information and resources. Now, when I talk about the stuff that we do every day, think about it in your daily lives. Who are the networks in your lives? I mean, I can just think of right off the top, my family. My family is very important to me. And that's a very good network because I can count on my family to help me when I need help. I can count on mom and dad or my brothers, cousins. I can count on friends. Those are also part of my network. We share information. If I have something that they need, I help them. If they have something that I need, they help me. So this isn't too far different from what occurs online. Go ahead and go. Online social networking is just taking those connections and those bonds that we have with people and just bringing them online, bringing them on through the internet. So, for instance, you would be able to share information using emails and things like that. But what's great about online social networking is that it's able to expand your network. You know, right now, my living personal social network is pretty confined to just my community. My family lives where I live. My friends live in my same community. But if I go onto the online world through the internet, my social network expands very greatly because I have friends all around the world. I have friends in New York. I have friends in Washington. I have friends in California. People that I may not see every day, but online I'm able to share information with them, share resources with them, collaborate together, work together, develop partnerships. And this is what we're really going to get to today is how can we develop our online social network so that we're able to share resources, information, and collaborate or work together so that we can reach common goals. Social networking is huge today. It's huge. In a recent study that I read, it said that 79% of adults use the internet. Well, how much is that? Let's say that there's 10 people. Out of those 10 people, 8 of them use the internet. Okay? Now, of those people that use the internet, about 5 of them use social networking sites. Now, when I talk about social networking sites, I'm talking about the big ones like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Jacketorg, and I'll be talking about those in a little bit, but they use these kind of websites to build their networks, to share information, to keep in touch. It is said that people who use the internet have a better support system than those that don't. Now think about that. Why would somebody who uses the internet have a better support system? Well, it's because you expand the number of people you can count on. You know, if I just think about my social network here at home, I can count maybe 5 or 6 people. But if I add those that I've been able to network with and build bonds and connections with online through social networking online, the number increases greatly. And so I have better support, better help, and I'm able to accomplish the goals that I want by using my networks, both here at home and online. Any questions so far? Okay. So going on to the next slide. What do you need to get started on your social networking? Well, if you want to develop a profile or get involved with some of the social networking sites out there, like Yacket or Facebook or Twitter, the number one thing that you absolutely need and can't do away with is email. You need to have an email address. A lot of us already have an email address. We use it every day to get information from or messages from our friends and family. There's a lot of free sites out there if you don't have one. You can go to Yahoo or Google or Outlook, and they're absolutely free. They don't charge anything, and you can make your own email address, and it's a great way of starting to network online. Even if you don't choose to go to Facebook or Yacket or anything, your email address or your email is a great tool for social networking. For instance, a lot of us belong to what's called the listserv. Listservs are just lists of email addresses that people can send mass emails to when they want to share information. For instance, there might be a conference that's coming up or a fundraising opportunity, and I want to let all my friends know or all the self-advocates know in Arizona. I just click one button and I send a mass email to everybody to share information. So that's a great way and a very simple tool for social networking online. But of course, there's the more professional ones out there that's called Facebook. Now, a lot of us already use Facebook, but I'm going to talk about what it is. Facebook is the largest social networking site out there on the planet. Well, how big is it? There are 1 billion people who use Facebook around the world. Now, there's only 7 billion of people on Earth. So that means that 1 out of every 7 people out there uses Facebook. That is a lot of people. That is a lot of people that you can make connections with, a lot of people that you can make friends with, a lot of people you can share resources with, a lot of people that can help you out when you need help. And it's a great way of sharing information. So how does Facebook help self-advocacy groups or organizations? One of the things it allows you to do is that you can create group pages, or you can just create a page, an individual page. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Another thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to share files and media, for instance, videos. You can share videos, you can post up videos, but only in certain ways. And I'm going to talk about that right now. Go ahead and go. So here's an example of a group page that we developed for the Youth Action Council of Arizona, also known as YACAS. Now, YACAS is a self-advocacy group here in Arizona of youth with disabilities, of various types of disabilities, who are concerned with the rights of youth as they transition into adulthood. Through Facebook, through our group page on Facebook, all of us keep in touch. We share information. We are able to upload files that anybody can download if you're part of the group. We can upload videos, and we can comment on each other's statuses. For instance, as you can see, we have posted up there the attendance sheet. We have we schedule our meetings through this group page, where we're able to create an event, and members who are going to attend the self-advocacy meetings can RSVP and let us know if they're going to go or not. You can also upload photos. So if we take pictures at any of the events, we can share them there. We can upload videos. We can even do surveys. As you can see towards the top where it says, ask a question. And that way it's a great way of getting information very fast to our members, and also getting feedback from them to see what they like and what they don't like. We can vote on what YACAS will be doing in the future by doing this all online. Next. Now, there's also another thing that you can do on Facebook, and this is more of a page per se, and not a group gathering. There's a big difference in the two pages that you can create on Facebook. In the one that I just showed you before, the group page, you're able to share files, you're able to share documents, able to share videos and photos. Under this page, though, which is just a general page, you're not able to share files, you're not able to share documents, and you're not able to get a conversation going between members, because oftentimes you're not able to post on anything that you've posted if you're the administrator. So those are two very big differences that we have found, that when we start using this document or this tool, how can we best get the conversation going? And we have found that our group page is probably the best option. Now, there is one problem with Facebook that we have found, and it comes to accessibility. Facebook does not give you much options in terms of accessibility features. For instance, there's no way of sending or chatting by video or sending video messages. There's no options much for people who might want to simplify the page so it doesn't have that much clutter. There is some accessibility features for those who use screen readers, but even that is also very limiting. But still, Facebook, like I said, is one of the largest social networking sites in the world, and you're going to get a lot of people and a lot of traffic looking at your page. So it's a good thing to have, I think, so that you can get the word out about what your self-advocacy organization is. Both creating a group page to share files and just a general page where people can look you guys up and see what you guys are doing. They can even see upcoming events that you're doing. Next. Now, another website that we recommend using is called Jacketorg or www.jacketorg. Unlike Facebook, Jacket is a social networking site designed by and for people with disabilities, more particularly those with developmental disabilities. And it's just like any social networking site out there like Facebook. You can create a profile, you can add your friends, you can upload messages and create blogs. The difference is, though, is the accessibility features. In Jacketorg, you're able to, instead of having to type out a message, let's say that instead of typing, you would rather create a video message. Well, Jacket will access your video camera or your webcam on your computer and allow you to give you that option to record a video message that then you can send to your friends, and they're able to see what you're talking about or what you want to tell them. But let's say that you do receive a text message or a message that's written out, and you might have some problems reading it. Well, Jacket.org has a button on the side that if you click on it, it will read it out loud for you. So it's designed to have as little text as possible and mostly designed so that it's much more interactive and user-friendly. Next. Now here is a screenshot or a picture of what the homepage looks for Jacket.org. When you create a profile, you can choose whatever information you want to share. Things, for instance, like your address or the state and zip code that you live in. You can upload pictures and videos. You can create blogs. You can add friends who then have access to your blogs and to your pictures and anything that's pretty normal for any self-advocacy organization. And if you look at the picture, you'll see up top that it has 4 large icons. One says home, that brings you to your home page. The other one says learn, and learn's important because it has a lot of great tools for self-advocacy organizations, because you're learning about things that affect people with disabilities. In the yellow one, it says talk. And in Talk, it's like a community bulletin board where you're able to share information and share your opinions, and other people can comment on them. And what's great about that is that you can either comment in writing, and you can write out your comment, or you can create videos, and that'll allow you to, make a video comment. Next. So we've talked about those two large social networking sites, Jacketorg and Facebook. Sorry about that. We talked about those two networking sites. And let's say you do decide to create your own page or your own group page on Jacketorg or on Facebook. Well, what kind of stuff would you want to share? And that's a very important thing, because if you don't share the right information, people are not going to know who you are, and they're definitely not going to be involved with your organization. So some of the important things that you might want to share is your mission statement. A lot of organizations have mission statements already, and that's a very important thing to share, because your mission statement lets everybody know what you're all about. What do you want to do? Who are you? What's your concerns? What are you trying to change? And so if people agree with that, and if people like that, they're more likely they're going to say, I want to be involved with whatever you're doing. And that increases membership, and that might even increase donations. You might want to also include a value statement if you have a value statement. What's important to you? People who identify with the same values will want to get involved. You want to include the community that you work for. Whether it be a city-like type community, you might only want to work with people from this city. Or it could be people with just a certain type of disability. You also want to include events. Are you having any events that are coming up? Or are you promoting any events that are coming up? Is there a certain self-advocacy group that's going to be meeting that if people want to be involved, they can go to? Is there any volunteer opportunities out there? Sharing information so that people with disabilities are able to get out into the community, become more involved, make society much more inclusive. Finally, you want to share contact information. What good is it if they know everything about you, but they can't get a hold of you? So sharing contact information is important, and it should be very visible on your page. Another thing that I want to talk about is etiquette. And what I mean is what's good to put on the internet and what's not. The rule of thumb is don't post anything that you wouldn't want your mother to see. It's a very simple thing. If you don't want mom to see it, or if you would be ashamed that your mom saw it, then you probably should not put that on the internet. It's very important to watch out what you're doing on the internet. You don't want to offend anybody. That not only might turn away possible new members, it might turn away old members, and it might even turn away potential funders. So it's always important to think, what would I do if mom saw this? It's a very simple, thing to kind of remember is mom's always watching. Internet safety. The internet is an incredible tool. It has completely changed the world as we know it. Society's getting much more closer and smaller because of the internet. It has been responsible for great things, and it's been also responsible for some very terrible things. The best thing that you can do is be safe when using this tool, using the internet. And one of the key, and there's lots of things that you can do, but one of the things that you definitely must try to remember is don't give out personal information. Don't share things like where you live. Don't share things like your phone number, unless you don't know these people, unless you know these people. But don't share social security numbers. There's a lot of bad people out there who are just looking for that information so they can take advantage of you. So be very careful who you talk to and what you tell them. Don't download files you don't recognize. You might think, oh, it's just a picture, or oh, it's just a document. But what you don't see is the virus inside. It can really hurt your system, it can really hurt your computer, and it can really set you back a lot of money trying to get it fixed. So be very careful with the type of information and the type of documents, whether it be videos or pictures. Be careful on what you download. Another thing is don't click on links you don't recognize. I get a lot of emails every day that say click here for this and click here to see that. Well, those are very dangerous sites or dangerous links because you could be saying, yes, download a virus onto my computer. And that could really set you back. Trust me, I know, I've done it. It wasn't pretty. So I think that's pretty much the basics when it comes to self-advocacy organizations and online social networking. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'd be happy to answer them.
We'll take a few moments and see if there's any immediate questions for George, and then we'll move on. If you have any immediate questions. Juliana, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have some very important information about making sure that you have antivirus software.
Go ahead and talk about that a little more.
I agree. It is important to have an antivirus program software on your computer. There's a lot of good programs available, for instance, McAfee or Avast, and they're free. Just make sure you go to their website or to a reputable site that you're familiar with to download the free versions. Another thing that I will caution though, be careful with the type of antivirus program that you use because some of those programs don't recognize accessible software that you may have on your computer for accessibility, and it might think that it's a threat and shut it down. So just that's something that you got to be careful with.
Do you recommend, George, that they talk with other people to find out what's good in their area or ones that people have had success with?
Yes, I do recommend that. And I also recommend that you just keep an eye out and make sure that the moment it starts, sort of acting out, don't ignore it. And just be careful. But the best protection is don't get yourself into those situations in the first place. Don't download files you don't recognize or are expecting. Don't open links that you don't know exactly what it is. Don't download videos or pictures that from people that you don't know.
Any other questions, Juliana, at this time?
No, nothing's popping up yet, but all the phone lines are open for attendees if anybody wants to ask a question live.
Okay, seeing no questions, we'll go ahead and continue the presentation. There will be opportunity again at the end if you think of a question. You'll get to chat with George again if you think of something. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide, please.
All right, and then we need Sky to go ahead and unmute. There we go.
Okay, we're unmuted.
Okay. It is my pleasure to welcome from Vermont the Green Mountain Self-Advocates. Our guest speakers are Sterling Peebles and Sky Peebles. Please take it away. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Next
Teresa.
slide.
Hello? Thanks so
Hello.
much.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us on today. On today's webinar about social networking and advocacy. My name is Sterling Peebles. I am a self-advocate, and I have worked with Green Mountain Advocates for 7 years. I am currently taking a sabbatical from my work at GMSA, because I am attending State College at the University of Vermont. My interests include filmmaking and social media. I have a very successful YouTube channel. I have worked on the GMSA Facebook and YouTube pages since the beginning.
Hi, my name is Sky Peebles, and I work at GMSA as an ally, and I do lots of different kinds of work, including social networking and working on our different social media pages and our website. But these days, I'm really interested in learning and talking about Twitter since it's really new to me, and I think it's really exciting.
And in case you were wondering, this is my sister. Yay!
We love presenting together. Next slide.
Today we are going to talk about how GMSA uses social networking. Let's begin by talking about Facebook. GMSA has a Facebook page. These are the different ways we use Facebook.
1. It is a tool we use to connect with other organizations in the disability field. For example, GMSA uses Facebook to talk with other groups and to share information about what's going on with us.
2. To tell people about GMSA and what we do.
So this is a lot about what George was talking about, but so we know that there's lots of people out there who have no idea about self-advocacy and have no idea that there's a self-advocacy organization in Vermont. So we use Facebook to teach people about our groups and what we do and our mission and our vision, community, all the sort of pieces that were talked about earlier. Because we really think that if people know about us, that they're going to want to support us. So again, we're hoping that they'll support us by maybe making donations or coming to our events and our conferences, and just in general, like spreading the word about self-advocacy.
Number 3, to connect with other advocacy groups and other types of groups. For example, GMSA works with the Vermont Focus Center and RU12 and other groups in Vermont. These groups work with gay and lesbian Vermonters and other important topics.
So we all work together to connect to make Vermont a better place. Number 4, we use Facebook to share our victories and exciting news. For example, 2 of our GMSA family members, Karen Topper, who's the state coordinator, and Nicole LeBlanc, who's our policy coordinator, were recently interviewed on National Public Radio about Branded, which is the Vermont institution that closed down 20 years ago. So we shared about that on Facebook because we wanted the world to be able to participate in that really cool event.
Number 5, we should update about events that we care about. For example, we have our annual Voices and Choices conference. We post updates and pictures.
Yeah, and we post pictures so we can show what self-advocates are up to. And we've noticed that people, they really like looking through photos. Like if you look and see what are the most popular posts on Facebook, photos are really popular. So we think that those are a really neat way to connect with people. Next slide, please. Number 6, we use Facebook to share about cool opportunities. Oops, sorry, our numbers on our slide are a little bit off from the numbers on our script. So sorry if that's been confusing people. So number 7, we'll put that information on Facebook so people will know when and how to apply, just like Sterling did a couple of years ago.
To stay in touch with self-advocates. Sometimes if you need to get a message to a lot of people
on our website, and we just have a link, but it's just another way to let people know about what we have going on. Okay, next. So GMSA makes videos all the time about tons of different topics. And GMSA shares the videos on our YouTube page. And we also will take the YouTube videos that we've made and we'll post them on Facebook, on Twitter, and on our website.
This year we use YouTube as part of our election to GMSA officers. They made videos of people who wanted to run in the election. They said, why are they running?
Video, but it says who is eligible for developmental disability services. So GMSA has made a bunch of videos about this topic, and the videos explain the steps and how to get more information. So that's just another sort of accessible way to get that information out to Vermonters.
Hi, Sterling. This is Teresa. When you speak, could you move a little closer to the microphone? Where you're fading out on us a little bit. Okay? Thank
We
you.
use YouTube videos to announce important things to our self-advocates. For example, election updates, state house updates, for other things going on around the office.
Can
Great.
everyone hear? Could you hear that okay?
Yes, that was much better. Thank you.
Okay, great. Next slide, please. So now we're going to talk about my new favorite, Twitter. So Twitter can be used a lot like Facebook. On Twitter, when you post something, it is called a tweet. Like, tweet. Just like anything that you want to say. There's an example of a tweet here that we wrote. It says, new video by self-advocates on building relationships with policymakers. And then it has what's called a hashtag. It says hashtag self-advocacy. That's the little number sign. And then post to be connected to a particular topic. So if you think about these hashtags as like a folder, so they want to make sure that this post goes into the self-advocacy folder on Twitter, and that this post also goes into the the facilitated communication folder on Twitter. And then we also posted the link. So the cool thing about tweets is that they have to be really, really, really short. You can only post, I think it's like 140 characters. So you can only say, yeah, that's true? Okay. So you can only say what's most important.
We use Twitter to share tweets and posts about cool opportunities with self-advocates. We also use it to stay in touch with self-advocates and to announce webinars and other useful tools, like tools for school, work, and other things. We have just talked about the ways that TMSA uses social networking to our self-advocacy. Thanks for listening. You can take questions now. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and find us on Twitter.
Once you started using all these different tools?
You mean with self-advocates joining local groups?
Yes.
I don't know if we, that's a really good question. I don't know if I know the answer. We can find out and get back to you, though. I mean, I think it's a really good way to get especially younger folks involved. But I don't know
The members are actually participating on your Facebook page.
Well, we recently went through a Facebook facelift because we had previously been using a Facebook page, and then we changed it over to having it be an organization page. So we have, I think, around 300 people who liked us. So we're really trying to reach out to those people again. So I'm not sure how many of our of the self-advocates actually are connected on Facebook now, but I would say a lot.
Local groups do use social media, Facebook.
Do you think most of the people in your local group are friends with GMSA on Facebook?
If they look at GMSA.
What if they, okay.
I'm not sure exactly though.
Okay. Did you guys hear that?
Advocates becoming, excuse me, self-advocates becoming empowered was that in a room of 10 people, 6 of them, and it's a major priority of SABE to help its members to connect to the new technology, because we know that more and more it's hard to get together because of the different kinds of grants that we have. But when SABE does stuff if they didn't want to, and that made people feel a lot more confident. So I think that, as the message travels around the country with SABE, that we are doing it and we're working out ways to be more careful with how you get connected and knowing who you're connecting with. You don't have to give information that you don't want to. You don't have to be friends with everybody that asks you to be friends. You can just not click on there. It's not about how many you know, but the ones that you do know, that they're the people that you know in your groups and are connected to it through your allies and your your collaborations and your grantors and things like that. So I appreciate you guys talking about it. Any questions, Juliana?
I have one last thing, Teresa.
Sure, go ahead.
So I came up with a cool idea.
Talking about. Don't do things that you're not comfortable with. If you feel creepy about it, it's probably creepy, so don't do it. You can hang with just your self-advocacy friends if you want to. And hopefully we can look at Vermont's pages and see how they're set up and get some really good ideas. Plus, you can look at the Youth Action Council's pages to see how they're set up. So is there any questions, Juliana?
No questions.
Okay, did you guys, George, Sterling, or Sky, did you have any last comments that you would like to make?
I George, people out there that don't care who you are, and they will try to take advantage. So it's important to always be, careful of what you're doing and who you're talking to. But if you take just, very simple precautions, very simple safety steps, um, using online social networking, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Yacket, it's a great tool, and you shouldn't be scared of it. I think that once you get past your fears and you use a little bit of safety, um, it's a great way of really getting the word out there for self-advocates.
Thank you, George. Anything else, Sterling?
I agree with George on what he said on the safety of the social media.
Thank you. Anything else, Sky?
No, I think this was great. I'm gonna.
The saved webpage. By December, you will be able to get all of these resources. Right now, there is wonderful. They are all loaded in there, and they cover a variety of subjects, and they have been led by the Green Mountain Self-Advocates in many ways, and self-advocates becoming empowered. So next slide, please.
Organizations. We're looking for how to use technology, any kind of trainings, activities for people, groups or organizations about self-advocacy, any PowerPoints, any toolkits about self-advocacy, and anything that will help self-advocates, sample forms, favorite websites, helpful hints, handouts, and different marketing items that self-advocates use. What are we looking for building strong organizations? Topics include purpose, values, vision, and mission statements, budget forms, friendly programs, agenda samples, planning and strategies, bylaws, being a nonprofit, social networking, networking at meetings, managing grant money, successful fundraisers, board leadership, and event plannings. This is a sample document that was submitted, and it talks about officers of organizations, and this is great because it shows you something in one page, and if anybody has anything similar to this, they can always send it to us and we can put it in the resource location. This slide is an evaluation that you can use to make sure that whatever materials that you are submitting or that the committee of our Community United grant has, that they can review the resources before it is put up on the resources section, and that way everyone can have access in any way that they need.
Okay, the next webinar is going to be the role of advisors as allies, and that's November the 4th. So we hope that you'll join us on that webinar. Just some final words. I think that one of the things that we as allies and as advocates can do is to support those who do not have access to computers by sharing our technology with them. I carry my computer with me just about everywhere I go. I also have a cell phone that has the internet on it. You can help, your friends that don't have technology, when you're with them, show them how these things work and give them the opportunity to connect with the world and find out what other self-advocacy organizations are doing. One of my favorite things is to look at self-advocacy organizations from other countries. Some of their videos are just outstanding. They get to the point. They're usually very funny. They use humor a lot to teach, and I want all of my self-advocacy friends to get the opportunity to learn all of these things. When we share information, all of our groups benefit from that. The more that each of us knows, then the more we share, the stronger our groups will become, the more diverse our groups will become, as far as age and ethnicity or race, religion, sexual orientation. All of those things are things that we as self-advocacy organizations need to take a look at and increase our diversity, and as well as encouraging young people to be part of self-advocacy. I think that, this webinar, we hope that it inspired you to the next step, which is opening up technology to everyone in your self-advocacy organizations, having those meetings where you talk about the things that people are afraid of and show them how to be safe, and to encourage them to join your self-advocacy social networking pages. And I just can't wait to see all the videos that Green Mountain Self-Advocates have made. I can't wait to learn all of the things that they have learned about the different topics. And I also noticed that when the Youth Action Council of Arizona meets, they actually use the social networking group page to talk about issues that the different members are working on. So sometimes you don't have a self-advocacy meeting right when you're in the middle of something, but that social networking page can get you immediate answers when you have a question that's hard. You don't have to wait till your meeting. It's immediate. You get support right away from all of your friends in self-advocacy, and that's what we're all about, is support. So I'd like to thank our presenters today for sharing all of their information. Just want to ask one more time to make sure there's no comments or questions. Juliana?
All right, I'm opening it up again for one last time.
Okay.
Anybody have a question?
If you do have questions, sometimes I get them after, so don't be discouraged. We're still accessible to you even after the webinar. My email is mooreadvocacy@hotmail.com, mooreadvocacy@hotmail.com. I welcome any questions or comments about this webinar, and we look forward to continuing the conversation on November the 4th, the role of advisors as allies. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to our guests. Have a wonderful day.